Kite and Water Tap by Francis Lee. Zetland 2017. Narrated by David Tredinnick. Do you still remember that time your father belted you with the feather duster after you sold a water tap? Mother was smiling to ensure I took it as a casual off-the-cuff remark. Father was sitting next to her, revealing an uneasy smile. His eyes were fixated on the coffee table in front of us. That was many years ago, when Mum and Dad came to Australia for a visit. Dad was then nearing 70, and I was in my late 30s. "No, Mum, I don't," I replied with similar casualness. That subject of conversation was over. To be honest, I did remember that event, even to its minute details. I sold that tap for 50 cents. Not too tiny a figure in those days, especially for a boy who only just turned 10. It was a day after Dad had cleared a shelf in our bathroom and found some scrap metal pieces, and he took them to a metal workshop in our street and sold them for a couple of dollars. I had not realized unused metal objects could be sold in that way, and it occurred to me that the hot water tap in our wash basin was not connected to anything. Dad was furious when he came home and found the tap missing. In that era in Hong Kong, physical punishment was part of the Chinese family culture. However, in our family, Mum was the chief executor, albeit a mild one. That incident was the only time I can recall when Dad exerted physical punishment on any of us, and it was severe. He became so enraged that he continued belting me heavily. Perhaps he had encountered some aggravating issues at work? Or perhaps he had equated me with a son who would one day squander our family's possessions, however meager. I also recall a strange experience. Somewhere into the belting, I no longer felt the pain. My mind had switched off. Later that evening, Dad sat me down at a table to explain what I had done wrong. He spoke softly. There was a tremor in his voice. His eyes were damp. Both Dad and Mum have long passed away. Something that happened last week made me recall the moment when I replied to Mum's question. Now I wish I had answered differently. Last week, my younger brothers and their wives called to tell me they wanted to put on a party to celebrate my coming big birthday. I gladly accepted. On the day, I am sure they would want me to befit the occasion with a few words. I suddenly thought of a famous essay titled Kite by the Chinese author Liu Xun. Liu Xun recalled an incident in his childhood when he found his younger brother hiding in a shed making a kite. Liu Xun said he hated kites, and he picked up that kite and broke its spine, then stamped on it. He remembered the frightened and despondent look on his brother's face. However, his satisfaction turned to regret as he approached adulthood. One day, when both he and his brother had entered middle age, he found the courage to raise the subject, hoping to make an overdue apology. Whereupon his brother asked, "Oh, was there such an incident?" In his essay, Liu Xun said his regret not only became unsalvageable, but even deepened, because his brother's lack of recollection meant that Liu Xun was not able to go back in time and seek the forgiveness that he dearly wanted. Some people surmised that Liu Xun might have fabricated that story to make a point. Even so, the point was well made. I am sure many older brothers of this world have harbored similar regrets, myself included. So, would the day when many eyes will focus on this aging birthday boy be an opportunity to seek such an apology? Will my brothers dismiss my recollection by telling me they cannot imagine that I was capable of such wayward behaviors in my juvenile days? My father's uneasy smile suddenly surfaced in me. Was he, too, longing for a word of forgiveness? Or at least a hint that I remembered the incident, so he could bring closure to his regret? I heard my heart whispering, "Dear Dad, I do remember, and I knew you were sorry. I saw it in your eyes. Twice."